It started with a notification on my phone. I was in the middle of drafting a logistics proposal for a client when the message popped up, an accidental forward from Emily, my wife of 8 years. Thanks for a great night last time. Ready to meet tonight? And the kiss emoji. For a moment, I stared at the text, my brain trying to rearrange the words into something innocent. Maybe it was a joke? A misplaced message from one of her friends? But no amount of mental gymnastics could make that text anything other than what it was. Proof of betrayal. I didn't explode. That's not my style. I've always believed in keeping a cool head, especially when things heat up. Instead, I set my phone down, poured myself 2 fingers of Glenlivet, and sat on the couch. I sipped slowly, letting the scotch cut through the initial haze of shock. Then, like a detective flipping through case files, I reviewed the past few weeks in my head. Missed dinners. Work's just crazy lately, she'd say, kissing me on the cheek. Late nights. She claimed she was staying at the office to meet deadlines. The credit card charge. A boutique hotel downtown, which she explained away as bailing out an old high school friend in a pinch. Individually, I'd shrugged these off. Together, they formed a neon sign flashing betrayal. I took her laptop and scrolled through her recent messages. It didn't take long to confirm my suspicions. Her little rendezvous wasn't with some mysterious friend. It was with a guy named Ryan, a coworker no less. Ryan. Just the name annoyed me. It sounded like a guy who wore skinny ties and pretended to care about the environment while driving a gas-guzzling SUV. I exhaled slowly and finished my drink. The part of me that wanted to scream and throw things had been strangled by a calmer, colder instinct. Revenge. But revenge doesn't work if it's sloppy. No, this needed to be precise. A lesson in logistics. I wanted something more strategic. This wasn't just about teaching Emily a lesson. It was about dismantling her little fantasy piece by piece, making her regret every choice that led her to betray me. The beauty of betrayal is how it sharpens your focus. I hadn't felt this clear-headed in years. In just half an hour, I knew everything I needed about Ryan. Thanks to Emily's emails, I had his last name, his job title, and even his preference for cheap Sauvignon Blanc. Someone from her office. Pathetic. He worked in HR, of all things. A fact that made me laugh out loud. Of course, the guy tasked with maintaining workplace integrity was fooling around with a married woman. After skimming through his LinkedIn profile, generic buzzwords galore, team-oriented, innovative thinker, I found his Instagram. It was public, and the photos painted the picture I'd already pieced together. Ryan was painfully average. A guy with a slightly receding hairline who masked his insecurities with overpriced sneakers and gym selfies. It didn't take long to confirm their next rendezvous. Emily's texts laid it out plainly. Same place as last time, 7:30. Can't wait. Their usual spot was a boutique hotel on the edge of town, one of those places that tried too hard to feel exclusive. Perfect for affairs. I smirked, imagining Ryan booking the same room every time like it was his personal love nest. I was ready to set the stage. I called Emily, keeping my voice casual. Hey Em. Just checking in. Hey honey, she replied, her tone bright and fake. Everything okay? Yeah, just a heads up, I'm probably pulling a late one tonight. Big presentation tomorrow. Oh, no worries, she said, relief audible in her voice. Don't work too hard. Love you, I said, biting back the sarcasm. Love you too, she chirped before hanging up. I stared at the phone, shaking my head. She didn't even flinch. That evening, I made a quick detour on my way to the hotel. There's a pawn shop about 10 minutes from our apartment, a grimy little hole in the wall that smelled like mildew and bad decisions. I walked in, scanning the shelves. Help you with something? The guy behind the counter asked. Yeah, I said, pointing to a worn wooden bat displayed behind the glass. How much for that? The guy squinted at me. Hunting or playing? Neither, I replied, my voice deadpan. Just need it for recreation. He grunted and handed it over. I paid in cash, slinging the bat over my shoulder as I walked out. Timing was everything. By 7:15, I was parked across the street from the hotel, my bat hidden under my jacket. The lobby's glass doors gave me a clear view of Emily and Ryan as they sauntered in, laughing like teenagers who thought they were untouchable. Emily wore the dress I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. She'd paired it with heels I didn't recognize. Guess Ryan had a better eye for shoes than I did. They didn't see me as they checked in and disappeared into the elevator. Showtime, I muttered, stepping out of the car. The hotel lobby smelled like overpriced candles and disappointment. I nodded at the desk clerk, who barely glanced up from his computer. A laminated sign listed their nightly rate. Emily was really going all out on my dime. I took the stairs 2 at a time, my adrenaline building as I approached their floor. Room 308. I stood outside the door for a moment, listening. Faint laughter and the clink of glasses filtered through the wood. Perfect. I raised my fist and knocked 3 times. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the air conditioner. Ryan and Emily sat on the edge of the bed, staring at me like hostages waiting for a ransom call. I leaned back against the dresser, spinning the bat in my hand, the weight of their confession still hanging in the air. "Here's the thing," I began, my tone calm but deliberate. "I'm not the kind of guy who just walks away quietly. No, you've both earned yourselves a proper, let's call it, lesson in logistics." Emily's face was pale, her makeup streaked from tears. "Dan, please, we can work this out." "Oh, we're definitely working something out," I interrupted, shooting her a sharp look. "But it's not going to be the way you think." I turned to Ryan, who looked like he was trying to blend into the wallpaper. "Ryan, buddy, you're in HR, right? That means you're great at problem solving. So let's hear it. How do you plan to fix this mess?" He blinked, stammering something about being deeply sorry and willing to make amends. I sighed, tapping the bat lightly against the floor. "Ryan, if you're going to talk in cliches, I'll need a translator. Let me rephrase the question. What's your plan to ensure I never see your face or hear your name again?" He glanced at Emily, as if she might rescue him. She didn't. I don't know," he finally mumbled. "Wrong answer," I said, stepping closer. "Let me help you brainstorm. Starting tomorrow, you're going to march into your boss's office and tender your resignation. Understand?" His jaw dropped. "Resignation? I can't just quit. I've got a mortgage, bills. Don't we all?" I shot back. "But you see, Ryan, you made a choice when you decided to play house with my wife. Choices have consequences. Now you can either walk out of that office with your dignity or wait until I send that little recording to your boss." "Your call." Emily gasped. "Dan, you wouldn't." I whirled on her. "Don't test me, Emily. You've done enough lying for one lifetime." Ryan swallowed hard, nodding reluctantly. "Fine. I'll resign." "Smart man," I said, stepping back. "And while you're at it, consider finding a new city to ruin. Maybe somewhere far away from here." Turning to Emily, I crossed my arms. "Now let's talk about you." Her eyes darted nervously. "What do you mean?" "Oh, come on, Em," I said with a bitter laugh. "Did you really think you were walking away from this unscathed? You want Ryan? Great. You can have him. But let me paint a picture for you. No house, no joint savings, no husband to foot the bills. Sound good?" Her lip quivered. "Dan, we've been married for 8 years. Doesn't that mean anything to you?" "It did," I said, my voice hardening. "Until I realized I meant nothing to you." She started to cry again, but I wasn't moved. "Don't bother with the waterworks, Emily. Save it for court. Speaking of which, don't expect a dime more than you're legally entitled to. I've already called my lawyer, and trust me, he's very good at protecting what's mine." Her face crumbled, but I kept going. "Oh, and one more thing. Don't come crawling back when this moron," I jabbed a thumb toward Ryan, "realizes you're not worth the drama." "Dan, that's enough," she shouted, her voice cracking. "You're being cruel." I tilted my head, letting the moment hang. Then I leaned in, my voice cold. "Cruel would have been smashing your boyfriend's face in with this bat. Cruel would have been dragging you both through the mud in front of your friends, your family, your coworkers. Trust me, Emily, this is me being merciful." Satisfied, I grabbed my phone from the dresser and stopped the recording, and smiled for the first time. Not because I was happy, but because I knew I now had everything I needed to burn their little fantasy to the ground. Well, this has been enlightening. Thanks for your cooperation, folks. I'll be in touch with my lawyer. Before they could respond, I turned and swung the bat at the TV. The screen shattered with a satisfying crunch, and both of them flinched. I didn't stop there. Lamps, mirrors, the desk chair, all reduced to rubble. By the time I was done, the room looked like a crime scene. As hotel security rushed in, I tossed the bat onto the bed and smiled at the staff. "Sorry for the mess." Room's on her card. I tossed the bat onto the bed, gave them one last glare, and left the room. As I stepped into the hallway, I turned to Emily. "Enjoy the cleanup." The drive home was surreal. The adrenaline rush from smashing that hotel room had ebbed, leaving a strange hollow calm in its place. No anger, no sorrow, just clarity. Emily had chosen her path, and I had laid the groundwork for her to face the consequences. The next day, the ball started rolling. I again called my lawyer, Alan, a no-nonsense type I'd known since college. I filled him in on the yesterday evening situation, sparing no details. "Sounds messy," Alan said, "but you've got the upper hand. Evidence is solid, and the recording seals the deal." "I want to protect everything I can," I told him. "The house, the savings, my business. She's not walking away with more than she deserves." "She won't," Alan assured me. "Just make sure you stay calm. Let me handle the legal side." I hung up, feeling a flicker of satisfaction. The machine was in motion, and Emily's dream world was about to come crashing down. By lunchtime, I decided to tighten the screws on Ryan. He'd made the mistake of leaving his Instagram profile public, and I still had the video of their little confession. It didn't take much to find the company he worked for. A quick email to their HR department, ironic, considering Ryan's role, did the trick. I kept the message polite, attaching the video and stating that one of their employees had been involved in inappropriate conduct with the subordinates. Within hours, I got a reply thanking me for bringing the matter to their attention. The dominoes kept falling. 3 days later, Emily's credit card was declined at the grocery store. She called me that evening, her voice a mix of anger and desperation. "Dan, why is our joint account frozen?" I either speak in a completely calm voice. "Because it's not our account anymore. I opened a new one. All the money I've earned is staying with me." "You can't do that," she shouted. "Actually, I can." "And I did," I replied, my tone as cold as the winter air creeping in through the window. "If you want money, call Ryan. Or better yet, get a job." I could almost feel her face twist in disappointment, but she didn't argue further. Deep down, she must have known she'd lost the right to complain. Meanwhile, the video I'd taken of their hotel confession began to work its magic. A mutual friend saw it circulating on social media and called me in a panic. "Dan, what's going on? Is this real?" "Every word," I said flatly. Words spread fast. Emily's carefully curated image of the perfect wife crumbled as friends, family, and acquaintances saw the truth. Calls and messages poured in, some offering support, others expressing disbelief. Emily tried to salvage her reputation, but the damage was done. Her social circle, once bustling with brunches and book clubs, dwindled to nothing. People don't like being associated with cheaters. It's bad for their own appearances. As for Ryan, well, he disappeared from social media entirely. I heard through the grapevine that he'd left town, his career in shambles. Good riddance. The house was quiet now, almost too quiet. Emily's things were gone, replaced by the kind of emptiness that echoed. But instead of sadness, I felt relief. It was like someone had ripped a thorn out of my side. Painful, yes, but freeing. At first, Emily lived with her sister. Rumor had it she tried to patch things up with Ryan, but that didn't last. Whatever spark they had fizzled under the weight of real-world problems. His unemployment, her shattered reputation, and the awkward truth that neither of them was particularly good at dealing with adversity. I didn't dwell on her much after that. My focus was on building the next chapter of my life. The divorce settlement left me with a house, my savings, and my business intact. Emily walked away with her car and a small lump sum that was more of a courtesy than a requirement. Her attempts to reconnect with her old friends fell flat, and her new social circle was, well, let's just say it wasn't filled with quality people. She bounced between temp jobs and rented apartments, a far cry from the life she'd once enjoyed. Occasionally, I'd hear about her through mutual acquaintances. "She's not doing great," one friend admitted over coffee. "I think she regrets everything." Regret, I thought, was a powerful teacher. Not my problem anymore. In the months that followed, I made changes. The first thing to go was the bedroom furniture. Too many memories there. I replaced it with something modern, sleek, and unapologetically mine. Then, I tackled the rest of the house, turning it from our home into my home. The garden Emily always neglected became my project. I tore out her sad attempt at a rose bush and replaced it with a vegetable patch. There was something deeply satisfying about watching something I'd nurtured with my own hands grow. Professionally, things took off. Without Emily's distractions, I found myself pouring more energy into my logistics consulting firm. I picked up new clients, expanded my services, and even hired an assistant to help with the workload. One night, over a celebratory drink with a client, the topic of hobbies came up. "Do you play sports?" he asked. "Not since college," I replied. Then I paused, thinking of the bat I'd bought for my confrontation with Ryan. Actually, I'd been meaning to get back into baseball. It started as a joke, but by the following weekend, I joined a local recreational league. Turns out, I wasn't half bad. The camaraderie, the competition, it was just what I needed to feel alive again. And now, I took up baseball. For real this time.